Hey Pisces, welcome back. I need to talk to you about something really significant that just came through in this reading. Pull up a chair because what the cards are showing me today is honestly pretty remarkable. Like we are looking at a major shift in your energy, and there are some fascinating dynamics playing out around you right now that I think you need to understand. So I shuffled the deck with your energy in mind, and the cards that came through are incredibly specific about where you are right now and what is unfolding in your world. Before I dive into the first card, I just want to say that this reading has a very distinct quality to it. There is this sense of liberation mixed with some interesting social dynamics that we need to unpack carefully. Let me start pulling cards and we will walk through this together. The first card I pulled is the Three of Wands and Pisces. This card is telling me something really powerful about the stage you are at right now. The Three of Wands is all about expansion and vision. This is the person who has planted seeds, taken initial steps, and now stands looking out at the horizon, waiting for their ships to come in. But there is more to this card than just passive waiting. What I am seeing here is that you have made some concrete decisions recently. You have taken action on something that was probably brewing in your mind and heart for a while. The Three of Wands tells me you have moved past the planning stage and actually committed to a new direction. This could be related to your career, your personal life, your spiritual path, or honestly any area where you felt stuck or uncertain for too long. The interesting thing about the Three of Wands is that it represents confidence in your choices. You are not second-guessing yourself the way you might have in the past. There is this quality of standing firm in your decision and trusting that the universe is going to support you. I am also picking up on the idea that this expansion is not happening in isolation. The Three of Wands often indicates collaboration or having a network of support, even if you do not see it clearly yet. You are putting yourself out there in a bigger way than before, and that energy is being noticed. What really stands out to me about this card in your reading is the timing. The Three of Wands suggests that you are in this in-between space where you have done the work but have not yet seen all the results. You are in that phase where faith is really important because the tangible outcomes are still on their way to you. But here's the thing, this card is incredibly positive about those outcomes. The ships are coming in, Pisces. What you have set in motion is going to bear fruit. I am also getting that this expansion might involve travel, or connecting with people from different places or backgrounds. The Three of Wands has this international or long-distance quality to it sometimes. You might be broadening your horizons literally or figuratively, opening yourself up to opportunities that are outside your usual scope. Now, the reason this card is so significant as your opening card is because it sets the tone for everything else we are going to look at. You are in a position of strength and forward momentum. You have broken out of something that was confining you, and you are now operating from a place of greater vision and possibility. That is the foundation we are building on here. The next card that came through is the Knight of Cups and Pisces. This is where things get really interesting. The Knight of Cups is one of the most romantic and emotionally expressive cards in the entire deck. This Knight is all about following your heart, pursuing what moves you deeply, and being unafraid to show your feelings. In the context of your reading, the Knight of Cups is telling me that there is an emotional offer or opportunity coming toward you. This could manifest in several ways. It might be an actual person, someone who is very much in their feelings about you and who wants to express that. Or it could be an opportunity that really speaks to your soul, something that feels aligned with who you are at the deepest level. What I am picking up on strongly is that this Knight of Cups energy is connected to how you are being perceived right now. Remember, the Knight of Cups does not show up quietly. This is a card of grand gestures and visible emotion. People are noticing your energy shift. They are seeing that you have changed something fundamental about how you are showing up in the world, and it is creating reactions. The Knight of Cups can also represent you embodying this energy yourself. Maybe you are the one who is being more emotionally authentic, more willing to pursue what genuinely matters to you rather than what you think you should want. There is something about you right now that is more aligned with your true emotional nature, and that authenticity is magnetic. But here is where we need to pay attention. The Knight of Cups is passionate and sincere, but this knight can also be a bit naive or overly idealistic. In the context of your reading, especially given the theme we are working with, I am sensing that this emotional visibility is part of what is causing discussion in your social circle. When you change and grow, when you start operating from a more authentic place, it creates ripples. Not everyone knows how to process that. The Knight of Cups is also about creative expression and intuitive pursuits. For you as a Pisces, this is particularly relevant because you are naturally attuned to the emotional and spiritual realms. This card is encouraging you to continue following your intuitive hits, to keep pursuing what feels right in your gut, even if it does not make perfect logical sense to others. I'm also getting that there might be some romantic or deeply emotional communication coming your way. The Knight of Cups often brings messages of the heart. If you have been waiting to hear from someone about how they feel, or if there is a situation where emotions have been under the surface, this Knight is telling me that those feelings are going to be expressed. Someone is working up the courage to be vulnerable with you, or you might find yourself in a position where you need to be emotionally honest about something important. The combination of the Three of Wands and the Knight of Cups is really powerful. You have got this expansive, confident energy paired with deep emotional authenticity. You are not playing small anymore, and you are not hiding your true feelings or desires. That is a significant shift, Pisces, and it is exactly the kind of shift that breaks patterns. Now, the third card I pulled is the Four of Pentacles, and this is where the reading takes a turn that I find really revealing. The Four of Pentacles is about holding on, about security and control. On the surface, this might seem like a protective or cautious card, but in the context of what we are exploring today, I am reading this very differently. The Four of Pentacles is showing me that there are people around you who are in a holding pattern. They are gripping tightly to their resources, their position, or their perception of control. This card often appears when someone is operating from fear of loss or change. They are not in the same expansive energy that you are in with the Three of Wands. While you are looking toward the horizon and embracing growth, there are others who are clutching what they have and resisting movement. Here is where this gets interesting in terms of the theme of your reading. The Four of Pentacles can indicate people who are talking about you because your growth and change threatens their sense of security or position. When you break a pattern, when you step into a more empowered version of yourself, it can make others uncomfortable if they are still stuck in the old paradigm. Your evolution is holding up a mirror to their stagnation, and that is creating some reactions. I am also picking up that the Four of Pentacles might represent an old pattern of yours that you have released. Maybe you used to hold on too tightly to situations, people, or beliefs that were not serving you. Maybe you played it safe when you should have taken risks. Or maybe you stayed in situations because they were familiar even when they were limiting. The fact that you have moved past that you have chosen expansion over safety, is significant. But there is another layer here. The Four of Pentacles can also indicate that some people in your circle are being possessive or controlling in their reactions to your changes. They might be trying to hold on to the version of you that fit their needs better. They might be resistant to your growth because it changes the dynamic of your relationships. That possessiveness or desire to keep you in a box is part of what is generating discussion and possibly some negative energy around you. The Four of Pentacles is also about material security and resources. I am wondering if there is a financial element to some of what you are dealing with. Maybe your choices have financial implications that others have opinions about. Or maybe there is some jealousy or envy around opportunities or resources coming your way. The Four of Pentacles can definitely indicate someone who is envious of what another person has or is receiving. What I want you to understand about this card in your reading is that this clutching, controlling energy is not your energy anymore. This is what you have moved away from, but it is still present in your environment through other people, and that is creating some of the tension and discussion you are dealing with. Your freedom and expansion is contrasting sharply with others' fear and rigidity, and that contrast is generating commentary and possibly some backlash. The fourth card is Strength and Pisces. This is such a powerful affirmation of what you have accomplished. Strength is not about force or aggression. This card is about inner fortitude, patience, grace, and the ability to handle challenges with composure and courage. The Strength card shows the figure calmly working with the lion, demonstrating that true power comes from inner mastery and gentle persistence rather than domination or force. In your reading, Strength is telling me that you have developed a quality of resilience that you might not have had before. You have learned how to work with your own nature, including the parts of yourself that are wild or difficult to manage. As a Pisces, you have got a lot of emotional depth and sensitivity, and the Strength card is showing me that you have learned how to channel that sensitivity into personal power rather than letting it overwhelm you. This card is also deeply connected to the pattern-breaking theme of your reading. It takes tremendous strength to break a cycle, especially one that has been operating in your life for a long time. Patterns are comfortable even when they are destructive because they are familiar. Breaking out of familiar patterns requires you to face fear, to tolerate uncertainty, and to trust yourself in new ways. The Strength card is confirming that you have done this work. You have found the courage to do things differently. What I am also picking up from Strength is that you are handling whatever drama or discussion is happening around you with a lot more grace than you might have in the past. The old you might have been more reactive or more affected by what others think or say, but the Strength card shows me that you have developed this quality of inner calm and confidence that allows you to stay centered even when there is chaos or criticism around you. The Strength card is also about compassion, both for yourself and others. You understand that people are on their own journeys and that their reactions to you are more about them than about you. That level of emotional maturity is what the Strength card represents. You are not taking things as personally as you once did, and you are able to maintain your own energy and boundaries even in the face of negativity or resistance from others. There is also something here about taming or integrating parts of yourself that used to feel threatening or out of control. Maybe you have struggled with self-doubt, with addiction, with people-pleasing, or with some other pattern that felt like it had power over you. The Strength card is telling me that you have learned how to work with those energies rather than being controlled by them. You have developed mastery over your own responses and choices in a way that is truly admirable. The combination of Strength with the other cards we have pulled is painting a picture of someone who has done serious inner work and is now operating from a much more solid foundation. You are not easily shaken. You are not easily manipulated. You are standing in your own power in a quiet but undeniable way, and that power is what is really being noticed and discussed. Now, the fifth card is the Wheel of Fortune, and this is where we start seeing confirmation that major shifts are happening on a cosmic level. The Wheel of Fortune is one of those cards that indicates fate, destiny, and cycles turning. This is the card of change that is bigger than just personal choice. This is the universe stepping in and saying that it is time for a new chapter. In your reading, the Wheel of Fortune is telling me that you are in a significant turning point. The wheel has turned, and you are moving from one phase of your life into another. This is not a small or subtle shift. This is one of those moments that you will look back on and recognize as a major pivot point. The Wheel of Fortune brings changes that feel somewhat out of your control, but these changes are ultimately in alignment with your higher path. What is really interesting about the Wheel of Fortune appearing in this reading is that it confirms that the pattern you have broken was meant to be broken at this time. This was not random. This was not just a matter of you deciding to do things differently. There is a karmic or destined quality to what is happening. The universe has been orchestrating this shift, and you have been cooperating with it even if you did not fully understand what was happening. The Wheel of Fortune also speaks to the idea of what goes around comes around. In the context of your reading, especially with the theme of potential backlash for some people who might be talking about you or resisting your growth, this card is hinting at karmic consequences. People who have been operating from a place of control, jealousy, or negativity are going to experience their own wheel turning, and that might not be comfortable for them. But for you, Pisces, the Wheel of Fortune is turning in your favor. You are moving into a more fortunate period. The expansion indicated by the Three of Wands is not just wishful thinking. This is actual momentum building in your life. Opportunities are going to start showing up. Synchronicities are going to increase. You are going to find yourself in the right place at the right time with increasing frequency. The Wheel of Fortune also reminds us that life is cyclical. You have been through difficult periods before and you have survived them. You have learned from them, and now you are moving into a more positive cycle. The challenges and limitations you have dealt with are giving way to new possibilities and better circumstances. That does not mean life will be perfect or without challenges, but the overall trajectory is upward. I am also getting from the Wheel of Fortune that you need to stay open to unexpected opportunities. This card brings changes that you might not have planned for or anticipated. Be flexible. Be willing to say yes to things that feel aligned even if they do not fit your original plan. The universe is trying to move you in a specific direction, and sometimes that requires adjusting our expectations and being willing to follow paths we did not know existed. The Wheel of Fortune is also encouraging you to think about the bigger picture. What is happening right now is part of a larger story. The people who are talking about you, the patterns you are breaking, the growth you are experiencing, all of this is connected to your larger life journey and soul evolution. Try to maintain perspective and trust that even the uncomfortable parts of this process are serving your highest good. The sixth card I pulled is the World and Pisces. This is absolutely stunning. The World is the final card of the major arcana. This is the card of completion, achievement, integration, and fulfillment. The World represents the end of a major cycle and the beginning of a new one. This is the card you get when you have done the work, learned the lessons, and reached a level of mastery or accomplishment. In your reading, the World is confirming that you have successfully closed out a significant chapter. The pattern you broke was not just a small habit or tendency. This was a major life pattern, possibly something that has been operating in your life for years or even decades. And you have done it. You have completed that cycle. You are free from that pattern in a way that is final and complete. The World card also indicates that you have achieved a level of wholeness or integration. The different parts of yourself, the different areas of your life, they are coming together in a more harmonious way. You are not as fragmented or conflicted as you might have been before. There is a sense of everything falling into place, of the different pieces of your life making sense as part of a coherent whole. What really strikes me about the World appearing in this reading is the level of success and accomplishment it represents. You have done something really significant here, Pisces. You have transformed yourself in a fundamental way. You have grown beyond who you used to be. And the World is saying that this growth is recognized not just by you, but by the universe itself. You are being celebrated on a spiritual level for the work you have done. The World card also has an element of public recognition or visibility. Your achievements, your growth, your new way of being, these are being noticed by others. And this connects directly to the theme of people talking about you in your circle. Of course they are talking about you. You are embodying world energy. You are demonstrating a level of completion and success that stands out. That is going to generate conversation and attention. The World card is also about freedom and having options. You are no longer constrained by the old pattern. You are no longer limited by old beliefs or old ways of being. The World literally opens up to you when you reach this level of completion. New opportunities, new connections, new possibilities, all of these become available because you have freed yourself from what was holding you back. I am also picking up from the World that you might be experiencing or are about to experience some form of recognition or achievement that is visible to others. This could be career success, creative achievement, personal milestones, or any number of things. But there is something about your life right now that is coming together in a way that is objectively impressive. And yes, that is going to create discussion and possibly some jealousy from people who are still struggling with their own limitations. The World is also a card of travel and broad perspectives. You might find yourself literally traveling more or connecting with people from different cultures or backgrounds. Or this might be more metaphorical, representing an expansion of your worldview and understanding. Either way, you are moving beyond the narrow confines of your previous existence into something much bigger and more diverse. Now let me pull the seventh card, and this is the Eight of Pentacles. This card is fascinating in the context of everything else we have been looking at. The Eight of Pentacles is the card of mastery, skill development, and dedicated work. This is the craftsperson who is focused on honing their craft, who is committed to excellence and continuous improvement. In your reading, the Eight of Pentacles is telling me that the success and completion indicated by the world did not happen by accident. You have been doing the work. You have been showing up consistently, putting in effort, and developing your skills or your self-awareness or both. The pattern you broke required sustained effort over time. This was not a one-time decision. This was a commitment to doing things differently day after day, even when it was hard, even when you wanted to fall back into old habits. The Eight of Pentacles is also about focus and dedication. You have been focused on your own growth and development in a way that maybe you were not before. You have made your own evolution a priority. You have been willing to do the unglamorous work of actual change, not just talking about change or wishing for change, but actually putting in the hours and the effort to transform yourself. What I am picking up strongly is that while you were focused on your own work, on developing yourself and breaking your patterns, other people were focused on other things. Maybe they were caught up in drama or gossip or surface-level concerns. Maybe they were coasting or going through the motions. And now there is a gap between where you are and where they are. And that gap is part of what is generating discussion and potentially some negative energy. The Eight of Pentacles can also represent your work or career literally. You might be developing new skills, taking on new responsibilities, or advancing in your professional life. And that advancement might be part of what is being noticed and discussed. Success, especially when it comes from genuine effort and skill development, can create envy or resentment in people who have not been willing to do the same work. There is also an element here of you being an apprenticeship to life or to your higher self. The Eight of Pentacles shows someone who is humble enough to know they are still learning, still growing, still developing. You have not reached a point where you think you know everything or have nothing left to learn. That humility and willingness to keep improving is actually a sign of great wisdom and maturity. The Eight of Pentacles is also telling me that you should continue with this energy of dedicated work and skill development. The pattern is broken, yes, but you need to keep reinforcing the new pattern. You need to keep showing up for yourself and your growth. This is not the time to rest on your laurels or assume the work is done. The work is ongoing, and your continued commitment to it is what will ensure that you do not slip back into old ways. I am also getting that the Eight of Pentacles might be showing you in a literal apprenticeship or learning situation. You might be developing new professional skills, taking courses, working with a mentor, or otherwise actively engaged in structured learning. This commitment to growth and improvement is admirable and is part of what makes you stand out from others who are content to stay where they are. The eighth card is the King of Swords and Pisces. This card is bringing in a very specific energy that I think is important for you to understand. The King of Swords is the master of clear thinking, truth, and discernment. This king cuts through illusion and sees reality as it is. This is the energy of intellectual mastery, honest communication, and the ability to make difficult decisions based on logic and truth rather than emotion or wishful thinking. In your reading, the King of Swords is showing up in a couple of possible ways. First, this might represent you developing this quality of clear-sightedness and intellectual honesty. As a Pisces, you are naturally intuitive and emotionally sensitive, but you might have struggled with seeing situations clearly, especially if emotions were involved. The King of Swords is telling me that you have developed the ability to balance your intuitive nature with clear thinking. You are able to see the truth of situations even when that truth is uncomfortable. This card is particularly relevant to the pattern-breaking theme, because often the patterns we need to break are sustained by illusions or rationalizations. We tell ourselves stories that make it okay to stay in situations or behaviors that are not good for us. Breaking the pattern requires seeing through those stories and being willing to face the truth. The King of Swords is confirmation that you have done this. You have stopped lying to yourself. You have stopped making excuses. You have looked at reality clearly and made decisions based on what is actually true rather than what you wish were true. The King of Swords can also represent someone in your life who embodies this energy. There might be someone who has been straight with you, who has told you hard truths, or who has helped you see situations more clearly. Or this might represent someone who is going to come into your life or become more prominent, someone whose clear thinking and honest communication will be important for you. But there is another possibility here that connects to the theme of backlash. The King of Swords can also represent judgment or criticism. This king is not afraid to point out what is wrong or what needs to change. In the context of people talking about you, the King of Swords might be indicating that some of the discussion involves judgment or criticism. There might be people who are analyzing your choices, questioning your decisions, or offering unsolicited opinions about how you are living your life. Here's what is important to understand, though. The King of Swords represents righteous judgment based on truth and principle, not petty criticism or jealous gossip. So if you are being talked about or criticized, you need to discern whether that criticism is coming from a place of genuine wisdom and concern, or whether it is coming from a place of judgment and small-mindedness. You have the discernment now to tell the difference. The King of Swords is also about authority and leadership through intellect and communication. You might be stepping into a role where you have more authority or where your voice carries more weight. You might be speaking up about things you used to stay silent about. You might be setting boundaries or standing up for yourself in ways that are new for you. That assertion of authority can definitely generate backlash from people who preferred you when you were more passive or more agreeable. I am also picking up that the King of Swords is encouraging you to continue to operate from a place of truth and integrity. Do not compromise your standards or your values to make other people comfortable. Do not soften your truth to avoid criticism or controversy. The King of Swords stands firm in what is right and true, and that is the energy you need to embody right now. The 9th card is the Moon, and this is such a rich and complex card. The Moon is about illusion, intuition, the subconscious, and the unknown. This card represents the realm of dreams, fears, and hidden truths. The Moon shows us that not everything is as it appears, and that sometimes we need to navigate by feel rather than by sight. In your reading, the Moon is revealing an important layer to what is happening around you. Remember how we talked about people discussing you in your circle? The Moon is telling me that there is more happening beneath the surface than what is visible. There are hidden agendas, unspoken jealousies, and secret conversations. Not everything is being said directly or openly. Some people are being deceptive or indirect in how they are dealing with their reactions to your growth and changes. The Moon is also connected to gossip and misunderstanding. When people are talking about you, they might not have the full story. They might be making assumptions or filling in gaps with their own projections and fears. The Moon shows that there is confusion or distortion in how you are being perceived by some people. They are not seeing you clearly. They are seeing their own fears and insecurities reflected back at them when they look at you. But the Moon is not just about what others are doing. This card is also speaking to your own inner world. The Moon is encouraging you to trust your intuition, to pay attention to your dreams and your subconscious signals. You know more than you consciously realize. You can sense the dynamics around you, even if they are not being openly acknowledged. Trust those gut feelings. Trust when something feels off, even if you cannot articulate exactly why. The Moon also represents the journey into the unknown. You have broken a pattern, which means you are in new territory. You do not have a roadmap for this new way of being because you have never been here before. The Moon is telling you that it is okay to feel uncertain or to not have everything figured out. Sometimes growth requires us to move forward even when we cannot see the whole path. You are in that phase where you need to trust your inner guidance and take one step at a time, even in the darkness. There is also something here about fears and anxieties. The Moon brings up what we are afraid of, the shadows in our psyche that we might prefer to ignore. Breaking patterns can bring up a lot of fear because patterns, even destructive ones, provide a sense of security and predictability. Now that you have broken the pattern, you might be dealing with anxiety about the unknown, about whether you made the right choice, about what comes next. The Moon is validating those fears while also encouraging you to recognize that they are just fears, not facts. The Moon is also about the shadow side of situations and people. In the context of the potential backlash theme, the Moon is warning you that some people might be showing you one face while holding very different feelings or intentions underneath. There might be false friends or people who smile to your face while undermining you behind your back. The moon is asking you to be discerning about who you trust and who you share your authentic self with. For you as a Pisces, the moon is especially significant because this is your natural realm. You understand the emotional undercurrents and the unseen energies better than most. The moon is encouraging you to lean into that gift. Use your sensitivity and intuition to navigate the current situation. You can feel what is really happening even if it is not being said out loud. Trust that. The final card I pulled is the Eight of Swords, and Pisces, this card is incredibly revealing about what some people in your circle might be experiencing. The Eight of Swords shows a figure who is bound and blindfolded, surrounded by swords, appearing to be trapped. But here is the key thing about this card. The bonds are loose and the figure could free themselves if they chose to. The Eight of Swords represents self-imposed limitation, mental imprisonment, and the belief that you are trapped when you actually have more freedom than you realize. In the context of your reading, the Eight of Swords is not representing your energy. This is the energy of people around you who are still stuck in patterns that you have broken free from. While you have expanded into Three of Wands energy and completed a major cycle with the world, there are people in your life who are still in Eight of Swords consciousness. They feel trapped, victimized, powerless, and limited. They cannot see the way forward, even though the way forward exists. This card explains so much about the potential backlash and the discussion happening around you. When you break free from a pattern and step into your power, it highlights the fact that others could do the same, but are choosing not to. Your freedom is a mirror that reflects their self-imposed imprisonment, and that is deeply uncomfortable for them. It is easier to criticize you, to talk about you, to try to drag you back down than it is to do the work of freeing themselves. The Eight of Swords also represents victim mentality and making excuses. There are people around you who are invested in their stories about why they cannot change, why they cannot grow, why they cannot have what they want. Your example challenges those stories. You are living proof that change is possible, that patterns can be broken, that growth is available to anyone willing to do the work. And that is threatening to people who have built their identity around being stuck or limited. What is particularly interesting about the Eight of Swords appearing at the end of your reading is that it suggests consequences for those who have been operating from jealousy or negativity toward you. This card can represent the backlash coming back on the person who initiated it. If someone has been talking about you, spreading gossip, or trying to undermine you, they might find themselves feeling increasingly trapped and isolated. The negative energy they have been putting out is going to circle back to them, leaving them feeling more bound and limited than ever. The Eight of Swords is also about fear-based thinking and catastrophizing. People who are threatened by your growth might be creating stories in their minds about what your changes mean for them. They might be imagining worst-case scenarios or operating from anxiety rather than rational assessment. That fearful, anxious energy is part of what is driving the discussion about you. For you, the Eight of Swords is a reminder of what you have left behind. You were in that energy at some point. You know what it feels like to feel trapped, to feel like you do not have options, to feel like circumstances or other people have power over you. But you have freed yourself from that mentality. You have removed the blindfold and loosened the bonds. You are walking away from that prison of limiting beliefs and fear-based thinking, and you cannot go back. The Eight of Swords is also a compassion teaching. Yes, there might be people talking about you or reacting negatively to your growth, but they are coming from a place of pain and limitation. They are trapped in their own mental prisons. That does not mean you have to tolerate toxic behavior or make yourself small to make them comfortable, but understanding where they are coming from might help you not take their reactions personally. Their negativity is about them, not about you. So Pisces, let me bring all of this together for you because this reading is painting such a clear and powerful picture. You have broken a significant repetitive pattern. The cards confirm this absolutely. You have moved from limitation and fear into expansion and possibility. You have done the work, developed your skills, found your strength, and completed a major cycle of growth. You are standing in your power in a way that is new for you, and you are operating from a place of greater authenticity and alignment with your true self. This transformation has not gone unnoticed. People in your circle are talking about you, And there are a couple of reasons for this. First, your growth is simply visible. You are different. You carry yourself differently. You make different choices. You show up in the world in a new way. That kind of change attracts attention. Second, your transformation is highlighting the fact that others could make similar changes but are choosing not to. Your freedom is uncomfortable for people who are still trapped in their own patterns, and that discomfort is generating discussion and potentially some criticism or negativity. The cards are also showing that some of this discussion comes from genuine appreciation and admiration. The Knight of Cups suggests there are people who are genuinely moved by your growth and who see the positive changes in you. But there is also a darker undercurrent. The Four of Pentacles shows people operating from fear and control. The Moon reveals hidden jealousies and deceptive dynamics. The Eight of Swords at the end confirms that those who are speaking negatively about you are actually trapped in their own limitations and are projecting their frustration onto you. Here is the critical thing the cards want you to understand. This moment is significant. The Wheel of Fortune and the World both indicate major turning points and completions. You are not going back to who you were. You have crossed a threshold. And while that might create some short-term discomfort or drama in your social circle, it is absolutely the right move for your highest good. The universe is supporting your growth, and the momentum is building in your favor. As for the potential backlash, the card suggests that those who are operating from jealousy or negativity are going to face their own consequences. The Eight of Swords shows them becoming more trapped in their own limitations. The Wheel of Fortune turning suggests that karma is real and that what people put out comes back to them. You do not need to defend yourself or engage with the negativity. Your job is to keep walking your path, to keep embodying the Strength card, to keep trusting your intuition as the Moon encourages, and to keep doing the work as the Eight of Pentacles shows. The King of Swords is reminding you to stand in your truth. Do not soften your boundaries or compromise your values to make other people comfortable. You have seen through the illusions and you know what is real. Operate from that place of clarity and integrity. The Knight of Cups is encouraging you to continue following your heart and being authentic in your emotional expression. The Three of Wands promises that the expansion you are experiencing is just beginning and that the opportunities you have set in motion are on their way to you. This is a powerful moment in your life, Pisces. You have done something really significant by breaking this pattern. You have freed yourself from something that was limiting you, and you are now stepping into a more authentic and empowered version of yourself. Yes, that creates ripples. Yes, some people are going to have reactions, but their reactions are not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to continue on your path, to trust the process, and to know that you are exactly where you need to be. The people who are truly meant to be in your life will celebrate your growth. They will support your evolution. They will be inspired by your courage to change. The people who cannot handle your growth, who feel threatened by your freedom, who choose to gossip or criticize rather than do their own inner work, those people are revealing themselves. And that is actually a gift because it shows you who deserves access to your energy and who does not. Keep your head up, keep doing your work, and trust that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. The pattern is broken, you are free, and the best is yet to come.